to the Amplify Your Voice TV show with Megan Brainers. It's so amazing being back in studio and just sharing overcomer stories with you, sharing the breakthrough stories of faith-based authors, of kingdom creatives, and marketplace leaders. So for those of you that's new to me, if this is the very first time that you're watching any of my episodes, my name is Megan Brainers and I am a kingdom coach as well as a international best-selling author, a book mentor, and the host for your show today. So I have an amazing guest with me, and her name is Alicia Beatrice. But before I introduce you or bring her on, I just want to share just a little bit about Alicia and what she is doing in the marketplace. So she quit her nonprofit job in 2019 and started her online business while being a stay-at-home mom. In 2016, she broke the silence and wrote her first book to honor God and inspire women to heal their mind, body, and spirit through love and forgiveness. So her business, which is called Black Family Business, started from her work. So the movement is more than just a story about a black mother starting a business to have financial freedom so that she can live out her wildest dreams and build a legacy for her family. Welcome on our show, Alicia. Please just share with everyone that is tuned in. You quit your job, just spill the beans and let us know what was happening. Share the transition with us.
Thank you so much, Megan, for having me on your show. And so, yes, many transitions. So there's been quite an evolution. Back in 2009, I was going through a lot. I was in school. Prior to becoming a mom, I was a full-time graduate student in social work in the social work program and was continuing on my journey of wanting to help people and obviously was working in a nonprofit organization. But prior to that, I wasn't doing the work for myself, just really giving to everyone else and not focusing on myself. And what happened is I had a breakthrough that I wanted to build something for myself and take better care of my mental health. And before I could do that, what happens is God, He starts to prune and He starts to refine and show you the work that you need to do for yourself before you can help other people. And that's what happened. I needed to take care of myself and turn a mirror on myself before I could continue to help other people. And what that led me to doing is quitting that job at the particular time so that I could step out full time into ministry and start working. And that's when I was introduced to the online world of business back in 2010. And I learned about all of this technology and things that you could do, how you could be sitting here and talking to people around the world and how you could provide services, not just in person, but how you could provide those and help support many people with technology. So that's how my story started. Prior to that, I had suffered or experienced many losses. I had a child prior to that moment, and so I experienced the loss of my first son and the loss of my brother. So there was a lot of trauma and generational things that I hadn't healed from, and I found my way to cope would be through writing and helping other people. Give, do. That's the strong Black woman mentality, and women of color know this in general. We just give and we change lives. That's what we do. And so in that process, God gave me back everything that I had lost. I now have two healthy sons, and I wrote my first book in 2016 to share my story and share the process of how I overcame all those challenges, my faith, my journey with God. And then Talk about transitions. I got married, um, and had my two children. I've since been divorced now, so I'm in the midst of another transition, and I find myself back at the crosswords now. In my background, I'm been working as a licensed therapist, so that's continues to be the foundation of the work that I do in my business, is being able to support people who are suffering in that way, um, and grounding myself in my faith and how I can share that with them, even if they aren't Christian. How can I support the people that I work with in my 9 to 5 work? And then when I transition into my business, the work that I continue to do with supporting people, just really showing that love. So many, many transitions, and many, many um, decades ago, that's how I started, and where I am right now may look a little bit different, but I think it just continues to build on that foundation.
That is so good because a lot of people get stuck in their pain and in their grief. And what I've discovered on my journey is that there's purpose in our pain. We have two options. We can either, let the pain control us and define us, or we can say, you know what, Lord, it's clearly, there's something that you want me to do with this pain. And I believe that when you are anointed and when you are walking in your anointing, it's because of what you've gone through. And I don't think it's a coincidence that you, even now, that like you explained, you've experienced loss, you've experienced grief, you've experienced trauma. And look what God is doing, He's using exactly what you've been through, and now you are now helping others to basically flourish in the areas that you may have, struggled with or still needed healing from. So just share with us, like, how was that? What was a defining moment for you when you said, okay, today I'm making a decision. I'm not making any more excuses for not receiving my healing. Like, what was your thinking pattern at that time, and what was the defining moment for you?
So I had been serving religiously in the church. I spent most of my time there, like throughout the week, not just on a Sunday. I was a regular in church on the praise ministry, the Bible study, just any ministry and committee, you name it, I was there. that was that was my place. People go to church for healing, and we find that we can heal through our service to other people. Um, but along that way, I kind of got stuck in some of the pain that I had experienced. And, sometimes churches aren't equipped to help you with the mental health aspect. You got to do a little bit more than praying. You got to go to therapy. You got to, deal with those wounds and that trauma that you have. And so what happened is, when I wasn't well, the church ended up kicking me out. And I got a prophetic word prior to that happening from God, that I was not going to do a lot of my work inside of the church. God had been calling me outside of the church to support his people, to heal the brokenhearted, those who were lost and in darkness. And a lot of that was going to happen outside of the church, but I just didn't know what was going to happen. Sometimes God, he'll use even the worst moments to complete his will. So he didn't give me a warning about the circumstances around it, but he did tell me, you're gonna be doing X, Y, and Z outside of the church. And since then, I have not really been a member of a church, more operating and I visit, but more of connecting with people in community, like being here on your show and supporting people in the work that I do. And so I suffered a long time in shame and fear of being kicked out of that church and community. And when I wasn't well, having to deal with my own mental health, mental and physical health. And I got stuck in that. The enemy tried to shame me and make me feel that I wasn't good enough because I had those experiences. Who are you to continue to do ministry, and who are you to talk about this suffering that you've experienced and you're helping other people as a therapist. Who are you? I got a lot of backlash and that kind of way and negativity. And I decided, you know what? Enough is enough. I'm going to finish this book like God told me and share my story so that I break the silence and help other women and men like me know that you can heal. You have to heal and talk about it. It's not a secret what you're going through.
That's so good.
Maybe you don't air out all your laundry, but you have to embrace your story so that you can move forward from that and move past that shame and that fear and know that you are worthy regardless of what you have experienced.
I absolutely love that. If you want to just find out how Alicia got to the place where she is right now, I want you to meet us back after the break. And we are back in studio with Alicia Beatrice, and we were speaking about mental health. We were speaking about the church, where mental health can't just be, fixed in the spiritual realm, but there's also other ways that it needs to be dealt with. And then also, Alicia will be sharing with us just how she's actually busy sharing with us how she processed mental health and also things that came up in her business as an entrepreneur as well. So, Alicia, don't you just want to share with us how you got to where you are right now after you went through, everything that you did in the church where people didn't really receive you well, or your calling, where God has called you? What kept you sane, and then also how did you get that mindset shift?
My relationship, I attribute it all to my relationship with God. Although I was very angry with God for a long time, I got stuck in the why of why did this happen to me? It was working through the anger, working through the depression, working through the shame, all those different emotions, and still holding on to my faith. And that's what kept me grounded, knowing the word of God, studying it, being rooted in it, and holding on to his promises, knowing that God told me to do this. I'm going to be obedient to it, even if it looks insane or I don't know how I'm going to do it. I just really held on to my faith and my trust in him, knowing that he would work it out. And he did. He never fails. He continues to, you know, um, blow my mind in such the amazing way.
So your testimony that you're sharing with us right now, you wrote this in your book. Have you been sharing it on other platforms as well? And if yes, how was it received, and how did it affect your relationships?
So in the very beginning, it was received as a bit taboo, talking about being kicked out of the church and pastors and spiritual abuse and things of that nature. It was a bit taboo. And I think it is still a bit taboo to talk about some of these things because you make people feel uncomfortable, you offend people. And it went from a place of anger. I was still processing through this even after I had written the book and stepped out. And God was dealing with me in that. He was still healing me in that area. Um, and I had to just continue to be faithful, remain faithful to what I needed to do so that other people could get a breakthrough and be authentic, not pretend that it was what it really wasn't. Now I believe that it's a bit more well received, even though it is a taboo issue. It's something that needs to be talked about.
So give us a few steps what you implemented on your journey of wholeness.
Absolutely. So writing, being able to journal and write things down, I think that's the most accessible way that you can work through these emotions and challenges, because sometimes you don't have anyone that you can trust, or people just don't understand, for various reasons. Maybe they don't understand, they don't have the same experience, or they don't know what to do to help. It's like if you tell someone um, something as traumatic as what people have went through and about your suffering, then they're like, well, how can I fix it? What do I do? And so if you write, it feels more comfortable. You learn to trust yourself, that you can support yourself, and then you'll be ready to take the next step, whether that be therapy or coaching, if that's more appropriate. You can do that for yourself, along with a bit of other things that have been helpful for me. I like to dance and sing and do creative things and just explore God's beauty in nature.
That was actually what I wanted to ask you now, because we get so fixated on our calling and our identity that we forget to have fun. We want to fix things, we want to be perfect and make sure that we honor God, when God just wants us to enjoy the now and have fun. I don't know about you, but we've got like similar things that we do, being helping people to get healing through their book writing. And I've just discovered that sometimes we can be so serious, um, because I believe the failures and the pain and the rejection, like, we're not exempted from that. Like, you're not the only person that went through what you went through. I'm not the only person that went through what I went through. And when we have the perspective that, you know what, I have to feel sorry for myself, or you don't know what I've been through. A lot of people would have that type of attitude. How does that prevent you from receiving your breakthrough? Because you've walked a journey with God, and you had to spend time in the secret place. You had to, converse with God. You had to yield to His voice. On your journey, how important is it to have fun, to have the hobby, to have the friend that you can count on? If you don't have the friend, maybe some of them don't have friends that they can talk to. Like, what helped you on your journey?
Yeah, and again, like God being everything for me. He's source, he's friend, he's husband now, he is healer, counselor, he's everything. So you learn to be your own best friend. You learn to trust yourself. You learn to have fun, and you learn to do the things that you need to do, so that you feel great and you're comfortable.
So, what are you doing in the season? Tell us some of the things you're busy with, and just what you sense God is speaking to you in the season.
I'm so excited. God has called me to work with specifically Black entrepreneurs. And, in the beginning, I really questioned that, because I like working with everyone. But, in business, you have a niche of people, or you have a calling or assignment. And so in my season, a lot of healing, a lot of Black men and women who have suffered in pain for a very long time through writing. And so I'm excited about working with them, to being able to break through, to share their story, to heal generational curses, and to be able to build their legacy, and make breakthroughs so that they can establish good relationships. The aspect of emotional freedom and emotional intelligence that's important to being able to do everything. It helps transform your everyday life and relationships. So I'm really excited about how God is working with me in this season, to being able to support them with their books, with their business and in their personal life.
So it sounds like you have quite a few skills up your sleeve because I heard you speaking about emotional intelligence. I heard you referring to relationship intelligence. So I'm sure these are some of the techniques and the tools that you use with your clients. What has been some of the breakthroughs that your clients have been receiving from using your tools?
Being able to get out of procrastination, getting things done, confidence, really, really confidence in themselves, in their abilities, not doubting, um, and being able to step out boldly in what God has them to do without any fear in their self worth. Those are some of the things that I've seen as breakthroughs for clients and what they have told me as far as their successes, their success stories and praise reports.
Why is that so important to you for them to get that transformation?
I see myself as a reflection of them. And we all are, right? We're all created in God's image. So we see each other as reflections. So I see some of the struggles that I had, and it not only feels good, but I know that it's honoring God because then they're able to go out, it's like casting the net. They're able to cast out their net and go fishing, be fishermen, be disciples, and reach people that, maybe I'm not able to reach, but they are because of their assignment. We each have our assignment, we each have our divine calling. And so that gives me joy in knowing that I'm able to support them that way.
So, what programs do you currently have, and how can they, anyone that's interested, how can they work with you?
So I have the Black Authors Academy right now that I am in the process of launching. It's a group program where Black authors, writers can be able to get that transformation that they need to share their breakthrough story in their book, whether it's their first or their next book, being able to support them in that way, to elevate the work that they're doing in their business or in their ministry. So that's the first thing. If people want to work with me one to one and get support in that aspect as well, I provide that service. Um, and I also have a gift that I offer. It is the Get That Book Done Writer's Guide. So it's a resource where they can dive deep into their story on their own and claim that. Um, so people can connect with me, get access to the free gift at blackfamilybusiness.com and sign up there, um, and be able to receive my weekly newsletters and connect with me in that way. And my social media handle is at I am Alicia Beatrice. That's IamAlicia Beatrice across Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and TikTok. I believe those are the main ones.
Share your final encouragement, prophecy, whatever you feel led to share, to that woman that is still stuck in that pain, that wants to get out, that wants to start the business, and that wants to write that book. Just speak to her.
The children of Israel, they had to go through suffering for 40 years. They circled that mountain for 40 years, 40 years. And it should have taken them less time to get where they were going. And particularly this lays hold for black people, black folk. We know that there were 465 years of slavery. 465 years of slavery. Think about, people who have suffered for so long. That's a long time. It took me a long time. It took me more than 10 years to get my deliverance just to write the book. 10 years. It took so long for all of us to get to where we are, but it doesn't have to take long for you. You don't have to keep going through suffering. God does not want you to suffer for so long, and especially in silence and feel like you're alone. Take the first step and make it happen. Just do it. What do you have to lose? You have only to gain because you're already suffering, right? And you're experiencing pain. So why not try something different? And don't wait as long as I did or go through that same mountain over and over and over when just take a leap of faith and trust that God, he is faithful to what he says he will do. He's waiting for you on the other side. And I look forward to supporting you.
There we go, family. What a dynamic woman of God. If you need to reach out to Alicia, please go back and have a look and grab her social media handles. Sign up for her programs. Check out the website. You've just heard she's got a powerful, powerful testimony. And what I know is that she will unlock the book inside of you. So, what are you waiting for? So that's it for today, everyone. If you want some more overcomer stories and breakthrough stories, you're going to have to wait till next week, Thursday, same time, same place.